Hello there. What is going on, everyone? Today we're talking about Grand Admiral Thrawn coming to Star Wars Legion. Thrawn had some pretty cool reveals at Mini Stravaganza, and I wanted to do a deeper dive and give Thrawn a little bit of individualized attention because he is probably one of my favorite characters, definitely my favorite villain in Star Wars, although he's not really a villain to me, so maybe villain's not the right word. But definitely one of the most interesting characters in all of Star Wars, and definitely one of my favorites. And I think he's probably one of the most difficult characters to create in a game like Star Wars Legion because of the fact that he is kind of always going to win. And do you want just to make a character that wins every game? You know, so finding a balance of a character that's going to have all this strategy and insight, when really it's up to the player to have all of this strategy and insight, I thought was very interesting, and I thought they did a pretty good job of kind of designing a version of Grand Admiral Thrawn that has some advantages, but it's still largely up to the player and, of course, the opponent to make the mistakes or make the correct moves. And Thrawn, in this case, is more of a tool to allow those things to happen. If you're not familiar with Grand Admiral Thrawn, he is coming in the Imperial High Command pack in next year. He is going to be joined by some other wonderful Imperial officers like Grand Moff Tarkin, of course, another Director Krennic with his ugly hat, Grand Admiral Thrawn himself, and General Tag, who we know nothing about just yet. But these characters are amazing characters that are just, instrumental, kind of leading sort of from the rear to an extent, not necessarily, especially in Thrawn's case. But we did get a look at his unit card and a little bit of his command cards. We're going to speculate on what the other command cards could do based on some really rock-hard evidence, which you're going to see. So you're not going to want to miss the end of this video. Also, we're doing 12 Days of Life Day all this month, which means giveaways all month long, which also means maybe at the end of this video there'll be another giveaway. So if you want to have a chance to enter to win any of these amazing giveaways, you just have to be a subscriber and leave a comment on this or one of my other videos. It's as simple as that. Love to hear your thoughts, especially on how close you think I got Thrawn's missing command cards, and if I guessed them right, or if you agree with any of my predictions, because it's very interesting. So yeah, that is all coming up. We're going to talk about all of this. Also, if you want to check the links in the description below for, social media links, Discord, all of that stuff. We have a great family-friendly Discord to come in and talk about gaming. I'd love to have you guys there. Let's talk about Grand Admiral Thrawn because, woo, he's a lot. Now, we do only have the front of his card. We don't know what upgrades he has. We also don't know what his point cost is going to be. Based on all of this, I think he's going to be expensive. I think he's going to be at least 150 points. He might even push closer to 200. You might be saying you're crazy. Yeah, he's got a lot of keywords, but they're not that good. And I think it's not just about the keywords. It's also about his command cards. And his command cards are going to be probably where a lot of that points comes into. But let's look at what we can for Grand Admiral Thrawn. Love this, by the way. Okay. Of course, he's a commander. He is 5 health. He is 3 courage. Now, 3 courage is pretty good. He has no defensive surge, but he has red. Now, interesting thing about him having red, right? Like, come on. He's not wearing any armor. Now, granted, in Star Wars Rebels, when he went onto the ground, he did wear, a little bit more of the, the ground armored stuff. But, so I think, you could make the case that he's dressed up more like General Veers, coming to the ground wearing some plastoid armor and stuff like that. He's not a fool. He's going to protect himself. But no need to depict him in the art that particular way, right? No, I don't think we really need that. He does have Surge to hit. He has just martial arts, which is 4 red dice in melee, which is honestly not bad. That's one of those reasons I think he's going to be very, very expensive, because they made him also capable with combat. 3 red dice for ranged with Surge to hit. Honestly, not bad. Courage 3 is also another thing. So you're getting so many things from him. So all of that stuff alone is already a good start for a character. Speed 2, what you'd expect. Again, red defense die, courage 3, Only 5 health, that makes sense, right? And we get into all of these keywords. The keywords are really nice, and they work, like, they make him so well-rounded and also have some synergy with himself that I think he's just going to be a all-comers type of commander. I think that's why he's going to be so expensive. I don't think he's going to need a specific list to thrive. I think he's going to work well in 100% of Imperial builds. And I think that's going to be why he's going to be expensive. Is like, okay. He's good at everything. He is good all the time. You know, and that's the really the interesting thing about all of this. So let's talk about everything that's here. Strategize 2. Already an awesome ability. It is an action, but he's going to give out 4 tokens with this, which is insane. So he'll take a suppression token, and he's going to choose 2 units within range 2, and each of those units are going to gain an aim and a dodge token. So again, being versatile, he works everywhere. He does everything. Which is really cool. By the way, he can be one of these units, and that's important, right? He's got cunning. Cunning is overall good. Cunning means he breaks ties, you know, if you're playing one of his command cards, right? That's always been a very good thing. I mean, cunning alone is a very, very good keyword. Now, granted, if the other person has cunning, then maybe not so much. Maybe we'll see a little bit more Krennic to try to, you know, balance out some of the Thrawn threat that's out there. That's a possibility. He has a direct Imperial unit, not a specific type of Imperial unit. Now, he's not going to be working too well with mercenaries here. He's going to be working a little bit more by the book. He's going to be, you know, not recruiting bounty hunters quite as much, even though he used some of those in Ahsoka Season 2. Where he's going to be directing Imperial units. He's giving orders. He expects them to be followed. He's doing things by the book here. But honestly, that's a ton of flexibility. If you're running a single heavy, you run an ATST, boom, he's given to give that guy the order. It's out of your order pool. Direct is an amazing ability because it's in addition to whatever command card you're playing. He's going to be giving that order out, and it's one less out of your pool. So even if you have to do standing orders, you're still getting two things of your choice with Grand Admiral Thrawn here. That's a really good ability. Direct any Imperial unit is really, really good. Duelist is, like, he didn't even need that, but again, it's something we see in Star Wars Rebels. I think a lot of this version of Thrawn is based a lot on what we see in Star Wars Rebels, and that's also appropriate because, again, at the end of Mini Stravaganza, they did spoil the Ghost Crew is coming from Star Wars Rebels. We'll talk more about that in another video. It's very, very exciting, but it does mean that we're going to see a nice, healthy home here with these folks and with Grand Admiral Thrawn. So Duelist is just making him better. It's better if he spends aims, you know, and he may have one. Again, it means you may want to be strategizing and giving yourself some of those tokens because now you are better protected. Oh, do you have Pierce? Oh, let me spend a dodge, and all of a sudden now that Jedi is not even going to be able to touch me because I was prepared for that with strategy, with doing things like strategize, which is incredible. Duelist it's just a nice option to have. I don't think I would always want to put him in a situation where he had to use it, but he's got a respectable dice pool. He's got actually a pretty decent attack. You know, he 4 for melee, 3 for ranged, surge to hit, and it's all red dice in there too. It's going to be consistent. It's going to be reliable. And Duelist is going to make both his attack and defense very effective. So, like, that's really good if you have to. And that's one of those reasons why I think he's going to be expensive. He's not, you know, he's not like a glass cannon or kind of, you know, oh, he's really good at this, but oh, if you can, but his weakness is if you could just get him in melee, he's going to die. No, there's not a clear weakness here. Seems like he's good at a lot of things. He also has Exemplar, which is insanely good with strategize, right? And the tactical one, which we're going to talk about too. Like he's going to be he can strategize. He can give himself one of these, you know, a pair of tokens, a dodge and a name. And then if he doesn't need it, boom, oh, other people can use it too. He is so well prepared. The combination of strategize, duelist, and exemplar is insanely cool and makes him so well-rounded. As a matter of fact, as much as I kind of want to suggest that because he's going to be good in so many lists and prepared for every situation, maybe he'd be good for new players. I don't know if that's that good of a suggestion because he's got so many keywords. He's using almost every keyword. So I would take that idea and say, well, he's good for maybe intermediate players who are like starting to, they have the handle on the game and now they need to learn about keywords. Boom, here's a guy who's using like half the keywords in the rule book. He's got everything and it all works. It's very, very cool. He has Tactical 1 also, which is going to feed into all of that because maybe he strategizes and then moves to stay close to everybody else so they can benefit from Exemplar, all that other stuff. Now he's going to have 2 aims and a dodge. He can share all that stuff out or use it for himself. With Duelist, it's strategize, Duelist, Exemplar, and Tactical 1. Those 4 things all work together really well. That's very cool. And of course, I left one off. It's called One Step Ahead. It's very easy to miss that one because it's separated by a comma from Exemplar. And it's not Exemplar step ahead, it's 1 step ahead. So that one is just so interesting. It's after you're resolving command cards, after revealing command cards, but before resolving command card effects, if the number of pips of the revealed command cards don't match an allied unit with the 1 step ahead keyword on the battlefield, and make a speed 1 move. And if the number of pips do match and there is 1 or more allied units within the 1 step ahead keyword on the battlefield, choose an allied unit on the battlefield. The chosen unit may make a speed 1 move. This is like it fits. This was Lando's ability. That's what, and this one. So this was one I didn't have committed to memory, so I had it off to the side, right? This is just like if you can predict stuff, you can, or even if you don't predict stuff, you still get different types of movement. It works really well with Lando. It's a fun one. This is one of those that makes it a little more like maybe not for a new player because that's like you're always having to like remember this one. It's a cool ability. It's a relatively new ability, and it's nice to see it used here. And I think Thrawn is a very appropriate person for this one. I wouldn't be surprised if Admiral Trench for the Separatists also has some of this same kind of setup, some of the same toolkit. Probably not the tactical one, or probably not duelist, probably less as far as melee and ranged, or definitely probably less as far as melee, but I think Trench might have some of that type of stuff too. But Thrawn, definitely, all of these things are incredible. Between cunning, direct, and 1 step ahead, he's got like a really great command suite, and then he's got a really great support suite, and he even has a good tactical. He's great at command, he's great at supporting the units, and he's also great at, good, I should say, at combat. I think that's why I see him being expensive. Now, we don't know what kind of upgrades he's going to have, but if depending on what upgrades, that can open up even more potential and more synergy with all of these keywords. He could even just be a guy that has not a single upgrade. Would he be maybe the first unit to have no upgrades? I don't know. I'd still want to take him. I wouldn't even care what upgrades he has. This is a fantastic kit of keywords that he has. He looks great. Let me know your thoughts on Grand Admiral Thrawn. I don't think he needs many upgrades. He doesn't. I mean, he probably would have some, but I don't think he even needs them. To be honest, he's wild. He's just wild and crazy guy. All right. We must wait and watch. So they did spoil Grand Admiral Thrawn's command cards, kind of. We got some other cards, they didn't really show us them, but we did get we must wait and watch. Now this is a very impressive command card. Very, very impressive command card. And it's deep. And this one plays into the mythos of Thrawn. This plays into who he is. And it also gives you as a player the ability to get better and better and kind of turn this game into a tactical, almost a chess game, a game of cat and mouse, if you will. We must wait and watch. The rebels will do everything that we want them to do, exactly when we want them to do it. I don't know. I'm going to stop trying to do a Thrawn impression. This is a cool card. So it's got 2 parts. It's a 2-pip. It doesn't give orders to any units, and there's a reason for that. But let's talk about the first part. Divulge, right? At the beginning of the game, you have a divulge step. You can show a card. A lot of people think that you must play a card when you divulge it or whatever. That's not the case. The first time we saw divulge show up in the game, there were cards that you had to play if you divulged them. But those cards will say that. This one doesn't say that. So you can show that you have this or not. And if you have this card, you don't have to divulge it. You can opt not to divulge anything, even if you have stuff that could be divulged. And that's where the brilliant strategy, again, divulge is a great keyword to include with Thrawn because it really fits into this. And there are some reasons you may want to use this. There are some more advanced reasons you may not want to use this. So what does We Must Wait and Watch do? If you divulge this card, you are going to be able to choose 3 Imperial units, and those units are going to gain reinforcements. Now, reinforcements used to be a little bit different. It used to mean that you would deploy last in the old edition of the game. Now, after at the start of the end phase on the first round, units that have reinforcements get to do a speed 1 move. This means that you can kind of deploy somebody safe behind a wall, and all of a sudden now they get to do a move at the very end without the risk of like, oh, I'm going to move out into like close to this objective and then I'm going to get shot. You can use this offensively. You can position snipers and stuff for it to have a great shot next round, especially if you know you're playing like a 1-pip or something next turn. That's a really good thing. Reinforcements is very cool. It's one of the best keywords for deployment. And you can, if you divulge this, three dudes, right? And they don't have to be dudes. They can be vehicles. They can be anything. It doesn't have to be Imperial units. That's another really cool thing about this. Imagine your ATST now gets to do a free speed 1 move and set up for next turn without any risk of getting shot or anything like that. Like, really cool stuff. Really, really cool stuff. So I like that. I like that you can do that. That's cool. And it makes sense. I always thought Thrawn would have had reinforcements, but reinforcements changed a little bit with this new edition. Now, it also has other text when it's in your hand. So after the divulge step, it's basically, if you divulge it, you're going to be like, haha, I have this card. And a player who knows this card, or a player who at first they're going to be like, whoa, what does this card do? It does crazy stuff. But after you divulge it, it goes back into your hand, and there it shall remain until used. It says this card can't be selected during the command phase. You can't actually use this as a 2-pip. It's really just a 2-pip for list building. You can't play this card, which is fine because you run 6 cards. There's only 5 rounds. There's always going to be a wasted card anyway, right? So this is perfect for that, unless, of course, we start seeing more things that have this exact same problem. So that is something to think about. It says this can't be selected during the command phase. When an enemy unit ends its activation, you may discard this card. If you do, choose a non-suppressed or non-panicked allied unit within distance 2 of the enemy unit. The chosen unit may make a free move action or attack action. So this is basically the ultra standby, right? It's like kind of like standby the way it used to be. This is a very good card. It doesn't matter if they shoot you and get a suppression token on you, because again, to be suppressed, you have to have suppression equal to your courage value. So if you get some higher courage people out there, then all of a sudden they can attack. And really, there's some crazy things you could do. Maybe you've got Vader nearby with a saber throw equipped or something like that. He can't be suppressed or panicked, right? So this does also tell you Thrawn's weakness in this case is suppressing his people. Maybe that's one of his weaknesses, because he doesn't have obvious ways to get rid of suppression, right? So he doesn't have Inspire. That's also part of his thing. He kind of lacked the social graces. He was socially awkward, right? So, he's definitely still could inspire people, but he inspired Pelion for sure. But he was a little awkward. So I love this card because here's the thing. If you reveal this, all of a sudden your opponent may play differently. They may not want to end within distance 2 of you. They may be trying to suppress you. And you know that they're going to do this. This card is going to become more powerful once it becomes popular in the meta, because people are going to be like, you're running Thrawn. Wait, and he didn't divulge. We must wait and watch. Is he not running? we must wait and watch. You're probably going to take you must wait and watch with Thrawn. But what if you don't? Right? Or what if you don't? Or what if you do have it and you don't divulge it? Then you really surprise somebody. So again, it's like there's so many interesting ways to play this. I feel like it's going to make all of the turn 0 stuff way more interesting. And my only fear about what we know of Thrawn right now is that he seems like he's going to be really good and really good, usable in just about every kind of list. He's like an all-comers kind of guy, and on top of that, he might be too good. Like this card may be in a lot of Imperial lists, and if he's everywhere, then he'll probably have to get nerfed or go up in points or something, right? So I think he runs the risk of being too good, but maybe I'm a little bit biased because I really like him. Maybe he's gonna be 175 or something like that. I don't know. Let me know your points guesses down in the description below. Now we have 2 other cards, Architects of Their Own Destruction. Something he said in Rebels, and I want you to know failure. Let's talk about those a little bit. We can't see very much, right? We can see I want you to know failure. It looks like it's kind of straightforward. It's a 3-pip. I am going to use the magic of the Crabbok, the crab magic, the Crabbok. This is the Crabbok, and we're going to go wah, 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 and we're going to guess what it is based on. We can see that there's a TH, a DU, a 1 and an H. Boom. Okay. I used Crabbok magic. This is pure speculation, but it's based on those first couple of letters. Maybe this is what the card looks like. Maybe it's not. I'd love to hear some of your thoughts. And I went kind of cheap with the rest of the graphics. I didn't want it to look so realistic that images of this floated around and saying Crabbok is leaking the cards. No, this is clearly something I just mocked up. But this is maybe one example of what it might be. I want you to know failure. This round, your opponent cannot use backup during your attacks. That's when you get to cancel 2 hits if I'm attacking one of your leaders or something like that, and that they have like troops right next to them. During your attacks, enemy units can only gain cover 1 from terrain. Cover may still be increased by having suppression equal or greater than your courage, right? Or being suppressed. They wouldn't have said, having suppression equal to. They would just say being suppressed. But I needed something that said having, or that had HA. So, but I think the one, I do think that this card is going to deal with cover a little bit. I think I want you to know failure means that it's going to give you a bonus when you're shooting people, and it's going to make their defenses a little bit weaker. So possibly backup being affected, or possibly cover, one of the two, or maybe both. My little mock-up here represents both of them being impacted by this. Whether it's a single activation or all round, I'm not sure, but I think that could be a very good thing, especially, and it would combo well with Thrawn handing out all these aims and kind of powering up offensive units to do a lot of damage. Remove their cover, all of a sudden you're going to do even more with those. That's one guess, but it doesn't mean I'm right. I guess when we get the full spoilers, we'll be able to come back to this video. So bookmark this video, and when we'll come back, and once all these things get spoiled, we'll see how close I was. I bet you this has something to do with cover at least, but I'm curious how much of it I got right and how much of it I got wrong. We'll see. We also have Architects of Their Own Destruction. Now, I'm not going to lie to you folks, this one was difficult to try to guess all of that. We have just a couple of letters, but we've got lines upon lines upon lines. We got like 2 paragraphs of information here. I had to try and put all of this together. This is one of those reasons we want to bookmark this and see what I get right. We go to summon the power of the Crabbok magic. We need mini crab. We need mini crab to do it. Mini crab, do it, mini crab. Boom! Oh, you did it. Good job, mini crab. Okay. Here's my attempt. Here's my guess. Now this is a 1-pip. It says at the end, again, this is not what the card actually is. This is me guessing on what it could be based on those letters. At the end of Grand Admiral Thrawn's activation, enemy units beyond range 1 of Thrawn gain a number of suppression equal to the round, or up to 3, whichever is lower. Then at the enemy units that are panicked suffer a wound for every suppression token they have beyond their courage. Your opponent may spend dodge tokens to cancel wounds. Any unspent dodge tokens are removed from units that are suppressed. If a unit suffering wounds has no dodge tokens, you gain a victory point. think gaining victory points for this might be a little crazy, but that could be one of the things that makes Thrawn so expensive, assuming he ends up being expensive. A whole lot of room for error with all of this speculation, but that's my good old college try for architects of their own destruction. The idea here is that I think this might put some suppression out there on enemy units. I think it would also, if I'm correct about the 3-pip, then it could also combo into that. You know, put a bunch of suppression out there, boom, and oh, while they're still trying to get rid of all that suppression, boom, no cover, ha ha ha. Or vice versa. Build up the cover, you know, boom, boom, boom. You're not benefiting from cover. We're going to shoot, shoot, shoot. And then next turn, boom, you're getting all this. Probably not. I think realistically, architects of their own destruction will have your opponent make a choice, and a difficult choice that you can then profit from. However, my interpretation of that was just, oh, you can spend dodge token. You can spend your dodge tokens to cancel wounds, but if you don't spend them, you're gonna lose all your dodge tokens. So it's a way to maybe clear tokens out, and you can either spend them for something good, or but you're not actually going to be able to use them in combat. So it's just I don't know. Probably a lot more room for error on this one. I'm less confident of getting a couple of points right here, but we'll have to see. I think at best there's your opponent making some decision and hoping that they make a mistake. Because anytime your opponent makes a decision, there's like a 50-50 shot that they make a mistake. So that's my guess for architects of their own destruction. And that is our look at Grand Admiral Thrawn. I do think he's going to be expensive. I think he's going to be good in just about every list that exists. Maybe he'd be cool to pair with a murderous master like Darth Vader, or maybe he'd be good to pair with somebody who has Inspire. Maybe he'd also be good to pair with somebody like Tarkin, or even someone like General Tag, who we know virtually nothing about. I don't know, but I am hoping to see Eli Vanto or Admiral Arelani or some of the other Chiss show up into our Star Wars games at some point. But it'd be very interesting. There's lots more to talk about, and we're going to talk about more of it as we move throughout December and we move into 2026. But the last thing for today, before I thank you all, and I thank my patrons. By the way, patrons get any of the Life Day gifts that don't get claimed. What do I mean by that? Well, you've got 30 days to claim your gifts. We have a winner to announce, by the way. Today's winner is going to win some cool stuff. So, today's winner is going to win some Star Wars Legion promos. We're doing a bunch with this one. This is a whole set. So they kind of go together. It's still kind of one thing. It is a Jedi Luke in the old style. But what year was this? From 2019? Yeah. Double-sided Jedi Luke promo with the full set of the Jedi Luke command cards that went along with that. These are like first edition stuff, but these are pretty cool. So it's a set of 4 cards. These are going out to one lucky winner. Today's winner is Endor21. Endor21, go ahead and shoot me an email at mailcrabbok@gmail.com. Please include what you have won, because I will forget, because I'm doing all kinds of giveaways, especially this month. Lots, and I do giveaways all the time. If you did not win, don't worry. If you don't claim this within 30 days, it's going to roll over into patron giveaways, so patrons are going to get more stuff. And that's the way the cookie crumbles, my friends. Welcome to the end of the video, where we talk about all the cool stuff. Why am I doing voices? I don't know. I got the holiday spirit. I'm in a good mood. All right, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Also, check out Battle Foam. If you're interested in protecting your minis, you can save 15% on your Battle Foam orders with code Crabbok VIP. I got links in the description below. You can jump in our Discord in the description below. All that stuff. Let me know your guesses for Thrawn, and let me know if you think I did a good job with any of my guesses, because it's fun to speculate, and I love it. And I appreciate you guys for watching. I hope you have a wonderful holiday time, and hope you have a great weekend and lots of great Star Wars gaming. I will talk to you later. May the Force be with you. Live long and prosper. Be excellent to each other. Party on, dudes. So say we all, and always wash your socks.